Folks, you've heard a lot in the last moments throughout the day about Canopy, and I think it's an incredibly important organization for the state, and the reason is very clear that private sector companies and businesses. It's very binary. It's 0 and 1. They can be on the right side of history, and they can be helpful in solving many of the problems facing communities and people and planet, or they can be on the wrong side of history and be a part of causing the problems. And at AppHarvest, ESG, environmental social governance, has been core to our mission from day one. Investing in communities, investing in education, aligning our business with people and planet. It's been a core part of the way we've built the business. We've tried to say that, for us, we identified the problems in agriculture, and they're vast. And our job was to build a business and ultimately turn a profit for our investors while being rooted in all of those ESG fundamental metrics that Canopy talks about. For us, we look forward to being engaged with the Canopy community. We look forward to continuing to highlight the importance of ESG. Last night, I was on a call with Georgetown Law School, who brought me on to talk about our story. And our story is just one of many happening across the U.S. and around the world right now. We are one of the few public benefit corporations that is now traded on a public exchange. So we're AppHarvest is now listed as APPH on the NASDAQ. Hopefully in my lifetime, we'll not only see startups enter major exchanges as public benefit corporations, but we need to hold those large incumbent Fortune 500s accountable and get them on this same train of public benefit corporations. And you really do that through authenticity, through transparency, and putting people and planet first. For us, I'll talk to you about what we've done as it relates to our core business, and then I'll talk to you about just some of the broader stuff we're doing. First, AppHarvest, we're building some of the world's largest controlled environment agriculture facilities. We're growing a fruit and vegetable with 90% less water than open field agriculture. We get up to 30 times more yield per acre. And we don't have to use the harsh chemical pesticides that you see on produce that's shipped into the country for imports. Right now in Moorhead, we're growing in our facility. It's a 2.8 million square foot facility where we're growing tomatoes. People ask me, who's your competition? Well, right now in the US, a vast majority of our fruit and vegetable production is imported into the country from Mexico. 4 billion pounds of tomatoes were imported from Mexico to the US last year. And if you look at the produce that's on our store shelves that's being imported in, most of it is pesticide laden with harsh chemicals. You have farms that are being operated where people are making $5 a day. They have no health care. In some cases, you have children working on farms. That's just flatly unacceptable. In 2021, if we want to talk about essential workers, then we need to make sure every worker in food and agriculture is paid a living wage, has full health care, and has access to ownership in the company. We're doing that at AppHarvest, where every employee is making a living wage. Every employee has their full health care paid for and premiums paid for, and every employee has an opportunity to be an owner in the company. And we've been called somewhat radical in the agriculture world right now. And to us, we're not the radical organization. The radical view is that we're allowing people to work on farms who don't make a living wage, who don't have health care, and don't have any pathway to grow in their career. And with technology and infrastructure, we can work together to rebuild farming all across the US. We can bring production back to the US that's currently imported from other countries, but it's going to take a lot of hard work at a lot of levels. We're one company. I don't see anybody doing this the right way as competition. If you're an organic farmer that's operating a small farm and you're treating people right and you're treating the planet right and you're treating waterways properly, we want to help and partner with you. You deserve to be on store shelves. Any grower, any farmer, anyone who's treating people and planet properly, we need to, as consumers, vote with our dollar and buy their products. At AppHarvest, our job is to grow fruit and vegetables at an affordable price and not raise the prices at grocery store shelves. We're at Kroger right now. We did our first harvest in January. We've shipped over 1 million pounds of tomatoes in our first couple of weeks. And we're now at some of the largest grocers, Kroger, Publix, and we'll be at many of the top 25 grocers throughout the US. At the end of the day, we need to all remember that we're voting with our dollar every time we make a purchase. And be that conscious consumer that not only votes with your dollar and supports companies who are working hard to create products you can be proud of, but be loud about it. And with iPhones and social media and all of the different networks available, be vocal. Support the companies that are working hard in this state and working hard around the region, and then hold the other companies accountable. This is a big table and we can keep putting chairs at it and we can keep extending the table and add more chairs. But again, it's very binary. You're on the right side of history or you're on the wrong side of history. And for those that aren't currently on the train, let's get them on the train and let's put more seats at the table and let's figure out how we can all work together to use private sector capital and use business as a force for good. We're coming out of COVID where we built our Moorhead facility. It took 600 semi trucks of materials. We built the facility in the middle of COVID. We hired nearly 300 people in the middle of COVID. We had to keep everyone safe. We had to work with everyone to make sure we were looking out for each other and we were healthy. And coming out of COVID, I hope we can come together as communities and we can start to think of how are we spending our dollar every day? What companies are we deciding to work with and work for? How are we investing in companies? And there's no better time for Canopy to be launching their platform and working with companies all across the state than right now. 2021 and on, this is the decade of environmental social governance. There's reports out that in the next decade, we could see $30 trillion of private sector capital flooding into ESG-driven companies. And our job right now as entrepreneurs, as innovators, as founders, and as CEOs is to create those companies that are rooted in place, that put people and planet first, and really create the environment to be able to raise the money and build the companies that we need, not only for 2021, but for the next decade and beyond. Thank you all for letting me talk about the AppHarvest mission. Thank you to the Canopy team for the tireless work you've put in developing that platform. We at AppHarvest are excited about being a part of Canopy, and we're excited about every other company in Kentucky joining your platform with us.